will be discussing about motivation and performance and why motivation generally decreases under pressure and stress. Motivation is also misunderstood. People tend to think that motivation is a powerful inner desire, high energy, and a constant state of enthusiasm. However, in high performing settings, enthusiasm is often least reliable fuel. Enthusiasm might fluctuate, pressure might rise, and fatigue arrives, criticism happens, and results are delayed, and the person begins to think, I have no motivation, so I must not be able to do this. And today we are going to question this sentence and understand what are some factors contributing to motivation or what we can do if we want to stay more motivated. Motivation can be experienced like a feeling, but it's more useful to understand it as a behavioral system. So, when we start to ask, do I feel like doing it, we will oftentimes we will find the answers that sometimes we feel tired, sometimes we feel exhausted, sometimes we don't want to do it, and we can try asking which needs, values, or environmental conditions and feedback systems are feeding this person's behavior. And at this point, self-determination theory can help us to understand uh, valuable framework and what's driving the behavior and which factors we can use that are in play in order to motivate ourselves. According to this theory, human motivation is particularly strengthened by three psychological needs. One of them is one of them is autonomy, the second one is competence and relatedness. Autonomy is the sense that the person is acting through genuine choice and internal endorsement. And anytime if you feel that your motivation levels are decreasing because you don't feel in control or you feel obliged to do certain things, you can try to ask why this task is important for you, and is really other people are forcing you to do it, or there is something that you enjoy about this job or about this task, and reminding yourself that you are choosing to do this task, you are choosing to try to complete the certain task can help to increase your motivation levels if it's related with autonomy. The second one is competence, is the feeling that they can develop and acquire skills. And notice your beliefs or thoughts about the task or the work you are doing. If a person can genuinely believe that they can learn new skills, they can develop their skills, their motivation levels will increase and help them to perform better, to stay more disciplined and motivated. And the third factor is relatedness, experience of connection, support, and meaningful contact. For instance, maybe you have noticed if your environment is supportive, if there are certain people who are trying to achieve or accomplish similar goals with your goals, you will be more likely to be more motivated. It will be easier for you to complete certain things, to complete your work, and this would automatically increase your motivation. Therefore, you can expose yourself to these environments, to people who are having similar goals, who want to achieve similar outcomes, and you can play with these factors if you want to increase your motivation levels. For instance, imagine that two people are trying to accomplish the same task in two different ways. One person works while asking, I have to do this and I will be a failure. And here, first of all, there is an obligation. Thinking this way would help them to decrease autonomy. And they are they are trying to do such a thing from the place of fear, and this can be, any mistake can be accepted in this case as a threat to their identity. And another person who is trying to accomplish similar goal might be saying, doing this serves my values of learning, contribution, professionalism, or care. And the behavior might look identical from outside, but the internal system is different. In the first case, pressure and threat dominate. In the second case, values and autonomy are present. And so, when performance pressure increases, when there is chaos, uncertainty, difficulties, challenges, the first system collapses easily because the person experiences the task only as a test of self-worth and they become more stressed. But in the second case, even if they have mistakes, even if they have challenges, they can continue to take steps because they have connected their task with their value, with what was important for them. And even in the cases of failure or difficulties, they can still uh, continue to take steps using these motivation sources, their values. And connecting performance anxiety with motivation is important. Under pressure, brain goal often shifts from learning to self-protection. Instead of asking how can I improve, you can say how can I avoid making a mistake. And when somebody is trying to do certain thing using this perspective, error avoidance mode can make you feel even more stressed in a short term, but it also will decrease creativity, flexibility, risk-taking, and sustainable performance. And we see this frequently in athletes, artists, students, content creators, and entrepreneurs. So anytime when you feel unmotivated or your motivation levels are decreasing, you can try to ask yourself, am I using as a fuel, right? Are you using your fears? You don't want to be criticized, you don't want to experience failure? Are you moving from the place of fear or from the place of love, contribution, or values? And if you see that you have changed the landscape, this would help you to change your relationship with the problems, challenges, perception of motivation, and get closer and connect with factors maybe that might help to increase your motivation, including competence, learning new skills, right? Thinking about your why, or connecting with people who might help you uh, to feel more motivated. And uh, imagine, for instance, Ajay creates a psychology content on social media. At the beginning, her goal was to help people share what she is learning and make her area of expertise visible. And her first videos receive modest views, but she enjoys making them. And after a while, some of your videos perform very well. And at first, the success increases motivation, then it starts to create pressure. And she expects the same result from every video. And while preparing content, she might ask, one what if this one doesn't perform? And automatically she has shifted from the place of love, contribution. She started to analyze her work from the place of fear. At this point, she begins spending more time evaluating herself than creating, and eventually she might say, my motivation is gone. In fact, motivation hasn't disappeared. Motivation system has shifted into a threat system, and she started doing certain things from the place of fear. So outcome goals and process goals, when we are focusing on just one outcome, for instance, if the outcome is not to fail, this will not maintain sustainable motivation. And outcome goals may include views, sales, ranking, grades, approval, income, or follower counts. But these things matter, but they cannot be controlled directly. And process goals, on the contrast, include the rhythm of content production, quality, practice, number of rehearsals, receiving feedback, sleep, recovery, learning, trying again, failing, uh, and application. And in performance psychology, outcome goals provide direction. Like they are helpful for you to understand where are you going. But if you are not using process goals, uh, you will not be able to maintain your tasks or performance for a long time. Person who lives only by outcome goals hands their daily sense of destiny over to algorithms, judges, customers, or the audience. But when you know your why you are doing this, why you are trying to study or to work or to accomplish certain things, these uncontrollable factors will not shake you or will not impact you negatively as much as if you were using this fear perspective. Meta-analytic research on self-determination found that basic psychological needs such as autonomy, competence, and relatedness are linked with well-being, quality of motivation, and functioning across multiple areas. Trying to motivate people only through reward, fear, comparison, or pressure may produce behavior in short term, but over time it can weaken internal quality and resilience. And this matters in business, education, sport, clinical psychoeducation, So, why performance generally drops significantly under pressure? First of, first of all, is that attention is narrowing. The person begins monitoring themselves more than the task. Uh, they start to analyze automated behavior. For instance, they start to ask, how do I look, how my voice, am I good enough, am I performing enough? And this helps to decrease motivation and makes you constantly stressed. Second one is the threat of error grows. A mistake stops being learning data and becomes a threat to identity. Third can be the body moves into alarm. When your uh, psychological system turns into alarm, your heart rate might rise, muscles tense, the stomach tightens. And the next one is avoidance behavior begin. Since you don't want to experience these uncomfortable feelings and thoughts, you start to procrastinate or prepare excessive checking or constantly seeking reassurance, monitoring outcomes, and all of these may decrease distress in short term but constrict performance in the long term. So, therefore, choosing understanding your why and choosing your why anytime you feel unmotivated or anytime when you shift into fear lens can be an incredible tool for you. For instance, when you think I don't feel like doing this today, uh, it's an inner experience. It's not an order. You don't have to listen everything that your mind tells, or uh, you don't have to change your behavior according how you feel. For instance, if you are feeling anxious, it's an inner experience. It's not a road sign. My energy low today is important information, but it doesn't automatically require canceling the entire plan. Sometimes value based performance is built not through high motivation, but through the ability to begin gently while motivation is low. When motivation appears to completely absent, you can try to ask yourself exception questions. Was there a recent moment when you started, even a little? When was what was different on that day when you were able to do certain things, even when you are not when you were not feeling motivated? If your motivation moved from to three, for instance, how would you notice? These questions move the person away from the identity I have no motivation to what variables that can actually be worked with, and it also helps you to realize all or nothing thinking. Like oftentimes we think if we feel unmotivated we cannot do anything, especially we see it in with cases in depression, and we start avoiding certain tasks or feelings, thoughts, places, environments completely, and this causes even more depression, even more anxiety. So, noticing those moments of stuckness and taking smallest steps, even on days when we don't feel energized, when we don't feel motivated, can maintain your behavior and help you to develop new habits and to maintain progress even slowly. Try to choose one goal that you want to develop for yourself. Maybe it's reading a book, exercising, studying for an exam, uh, developing your practice, or something else. Then ask yourself what part of this goal is truly chosen and endorsed by mine, and you can write down it next to your goal. And what small skill indicator would show me that I'm developing this goal? And which community or which area of contribution does this goal connect me with? And if a goal is completely disconnected from all the three areas and the person is moving only through pressure and guilt, it's not surprising when motivation collapses. So connecting your goals with these three factors can help you to maintain motivation in long run. I hope that this session was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications if you want to learn more on these topics. Take good care of yourself and see you in the next videos again.